Hello friends, I'm Stacy. Welcome to my very first YouTube video. If this all works out and I figure everything out and this ever sees the light of day, so just bear with me in this video, please. I'm trying things out, I'm figuring things out, and I'm not sure what I'm doing, but anyway, we're experimenting. So this is gonna be a 48-hour vlog for actually two 48-hour readathons that I'm doing this weekend. I'm kind of combining them. So we have the Weekend of Peace, which is a 48-hour readathon within Realmathon. If you don't know what Realmathon is, I'll link Cassidy's announcement video down below. She can explain everything better than I can. But it's a month-long competitive team-based readathon. Weekend of Peace is a 48-hour readathon within that month-long readathon where everything that you read counts for extra points. I'm on Team Shadows for that, for Realmathon. So I get extra points for anything that has a black cover or has a building on the cover. And then there's a bunch of other prompts associated with it, but I'm not gonna like go into all that. There's too much to list. And then the other readathon that's happening is Mini Star Hop. So this is a Patreon readathon with Stephanie from Stephanie's Book Verse. Every other month she does a mini version of her monthly TBR game that she plays. So it's a smaller board and it's meant to be just kind of played through and gotten through in 48 hours. We usually end up with like 4 to 5 books for that. I don't usually actually finish it, I'm gonna be totally honest. We'll see what happens this time, but I have a baby, an 8-month-old little boy, and I don't read quite as fast to begin with as some other people do. So I think I've been a patron of Stephanie's for like a year and a half, and I think I've only actually completed it like twice. And that was with like reading very, very short books and like graphic novels and like, you know, so we'll see what happens. I'm not 100% sure how much I'm actually going to be able to read this weekend, but we're gonna try. So with Mini Star Hop, we roll as we go, and there are different spaces on the board. I'll put up a picture of the board. There are different spinner wheels associated with the different spaces, and then there are also black holes, which if you land on those, you have to go back to the beginning, and you have to do a spinner wheel of basically your entire, kind of like what you were gonna read. I think Stephanie does like her whole like month's TBR. Obviously, I don't really know what we're gonna get for prompts for that, so she doesn't do the first spin or the first roll or whatever until the beginning of sprints. All right, sorry, the baby fell over and started crying, and now he's here and I'm covered in baby spit and tears. Anyway, hi, this is Logan. Say hello. Say hello, cute baby. But there's a little bit of a gap of time where Weekend of Peace starts at 7 p.m. my time, and then Mini Star Hop doesn't start until 8 p.m. my time. So I have like an hour after Weekend of Peace starts where I won't know what I'm actually going to be reading for my first book for Mini Star Hop. But with Mini Star Hop, you can pick books for the prompt that you're already in the midst of, that you've already started. But you can't do that for Weekend of Peace. You have to read the whole book in the 48 hours. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't know if you want to call it cheating or you want to call it setting yourself up for success, but I'm going to kind of gamble a little bit on the fact that one of the prompts that is a little harder to complete that we do usually end up getting a book over 400 pages. So I think almost every Mini Star Hop that we've done, we've ended up getting this as a prompt at least once. Last time we got it twice, so needless to say, I did not finish that weekend because a book over 400 pages is hard for me, especially, like I said, I'm not like a super fast reader, and depending on what he's doing and how much I actually need to, like, you know, be right there with him, making sure that he's not trying to kill himself. He's just like, he's at the age where he's like into everything, and he's pulling himself up to stand, and then like not quite sturdy enough to like actually stand, so then he like falls over. It's been a whole thing. Pull my shirt down. Don't pull my shirt down. Hi. So anyway, I'm gonna be getting myself a little bit of a head start into a 400-page book for the hour before Mini Star Hop actually starts. So I'm gonna be starting with How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This has a black cover and a building on the cover. So even though I think it's like a toy building, but I think it still counts. So this is gonna get me some good points for Realmathon. I'm not sure what else it's gonna get me for the rest of the points, but it'll get me those bonus points anyway. It's just over 400 pages, so for that first like hour, like probably 45 minutes, I'll be watching the kickoff sprint, so I'm sure they'll talk for quite a while before we actually read. So for this first probably 45 minutes before Mini Star Hop starts, before I actually know what the first prompt is, I'm gonna get a little head start into this, and then hopefully at some point over the weekend when 400 plus pages comes up, then I can just pick this up again and finish it and hopefully actually read it within the weekend. I'm not 100% sure how fast-paced this is going to be. Grady Hendrix and I have a complicated relationship. I feel like I often, like, really, I like the idea of his books. Like, I think it sounds really good, and I want to read it, and I want to like it. But the execution of it just ends up not being what I thought it was going to be. And I actually kind of thought I was done, honestly, with Grady Hendrix. I kind of wasn't planning on reading anymore. But my sister, who previously had read The Final Girls Support Group and didn't like it, read this and really liked it. I know a lot of other people have not liked it, so I'm trusting her and going with what she said. And she said it's really spooky and creepy. I don't know a lot about it. I know that it has to do with grief. And I know that there are like puppets or dolls or something in it. I think they're like puppets, which sounds creepy to me, honestly. We'll see what the board gives us. We'll see what we end up actually getting for a first prompt. And I'm gonna be really mad if I spend an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, reading this and then end up not getting a 400 plus page book, because then I'm gonna have wasted my reading, but it's fine. I'll just finish it next week because it will get me points for Realmathon. And I don't even know if I want to bring this up and even like bring it to the attention of the readathon gods, but there is a 500 plus page prompt on one of the spinner wheels, and I don't really want to talk about it. And I'm just gonna pretend it doesn't exist and manifest that it's not gonna happen, because if I have to read a 500 plus page book, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen this weekend. But anyway, so I will talk to you guys after I actually start reading, and or after I actually know what I'm supposed to be reading for Mini Star Hop. And that's it. Bye. Hi friends. It's about 7:30. So Weekend of Peace Talks has officially started, and Mini Star Hop is starting in about half an hour. I've just had a bit of an existential crisis. I was going, I didn't realize how close it was to 7. I fed the baby. He's like hopefully winding down for bed here soon. And I was like, shit, like, you know, the chatty bit of the sprints is like starting, and I haven't had any dinner yet. I started cooking my ramen, and then I was like, all right, well, I'll start reading How to Sell a Haunted House. And then I was like, wait a minute, I was like, maybe I should just do my own rolls. And then if for some by some miracle, I end up getting ahead of Stephanie, which I don't think is gonna happen. But I mean, if I end up getting ahead of Stephanie, then I can just do my own role and I can just move on and I won't have to wait for her. And then I realized that I don't have any of the spinner wheels set up. So I was like, all right, well, never mind then. I'll just start reading How to Sell a Haunted House. And now I have to eat my dinner. It's now like almost 8 o'clock. I mean, I still have some time, but it's like, it's closer to 8 o'clock than I wanted to, and I haven't even started reading yet. I'm gonna try to start reading and see how much I can get into before Mini Star Hop actually starts, and then we'll go from there. Good morning, friends. It's now Saturday morning. It's about 8:30 in the morning. And our first roll for Mini Star Hop was in fact a 400 plus page book, so I feel validated. I didn't get quite as far into this last night as I wanted to. I only got to page 77, which is, it's alright, but it's not as far as I wanted to get into it. This is about, I don't want to tell you too much of what this is about because I don't want to, like, spoil things. And I think for, like, thrillers and horror and stuff, really you should know as little as possible going in. That's the way that I feel about it. But this is about Louise, whose parents die in a car accident, so it's a very sudden death. It's nothing that she was expecting. And she has to go back home and kind of deal with her parents' stuff, cleaning out the house, that kind of thing. And it's kind of about her coming to terms with her parents' death. She had kind of a complicated relationship with her mom, so she's kind of like dealing with that, having some guilt about living so far away from them and not seeing them as much. And then also her complicated relationship with her brother, Mark, who's still alive, who lived closer to them. And kind of some arguments with him about how their funeral should be set up and who's going to get what and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, so it's kind of that kind of emotional side. But her parents, her mother, also collected dolls and puppets. There's some creepy things going on with the dolls and puppets. So it's essentially, it's like Louise like cleaning out her parents' house and kind of dealing with everything, but then also like weird things start happening in the house. But the next, Stephanie stayed up until like 1 o'clock in the morning reading last night, so she's already done, which I did not do. I went to bed at 10 o'clock. So she's already done the second roll. The second roll is a friend pick. I don't really have any friends in real life who know anything about books, really. But I think I'm just going to do like a poll pick either on like Stephanie's next set of sprints or on like one of the many bookish discords that I'm on. I'll just do a poll pick of like a few of the books that I was planning on reading, a couple of the shorter ones that I was planning on reading, and we'll go from there. Alright friends, it's about 11:30 and I am about 200 pages into How to Sell a Haunted House, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm finding it very, very interesting, very engaging. I think I see the point where people say it takes a weird turn and they didn't like it after that, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, it does kind of go in a different direction than what I thought it was going to, but I am really enjoying it. I'm like not wanting to put it down. I've literally just been sitting here for like 3 hours just reading, so I mean, I think that tells you something. It's pretty rare for me to do that, for me to like just sit and read and like for my mind not to wander and for me not to feel like I should be doing other things. So I think that says a lot about how much I'm enjoying it. I did set up an emoji poll on the Realmathon Discord. I'm using that kind of in place of my friend pick for my next read. So we'll see which wins that. I used a heart for Heartstopper. I used a ship anchor for the Salt by Hannah Moskowitz, which I got from the library yesterday. It's a YA, like pretty short book. I've never heard of it before, but I'm interested. And what else did I have? Oh, A Rose for Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, the novella in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. And then A Planet, which I think was like Saturn, but anyway, A Planet for the Ice Planet Barbarians, the novella. Ice Planet Honeymoon, I think it's called, is the next book in that series that I need to read. So we'll see which one of those wins. Stephanie's next set of sprints for Mini Star Hop don't start until 1 p.m. my time, because she's in a earlier time zone than I am. So it's earlier for her, but it's not till 1 p.m. So I do need to take a break here at some point and make some lunch, because I'm starting to get hungry. I'm gonna go and keep reading, and I probably will talk to you guys after I actually finish How to Sell a Haunted House and decide what my next book is gonna be, and let you know how many points it got me for Realmathon, because I think it's gonna get me quite a few points, but we'll see. Hello friends, so it is about 8:30 at night now. We'll see if the baby will let me film this clip. He's been very needy for the last little bit here, and this lighting is absolutely terrible. But anyway, I finished How to Sell a Haunted House. I finished it at like 6:30, so a little bit ago. I give this 4.5 stars. So not quite 5 stars, but 4.5 stars. And this got me a whopping 62 points for The Realm of Shadows. Stephanie's actually on her last book. So the readathon is, we're done with the rolls. So we know what we need to read for the rest of it. So the second roll was a friend pick, and for that I did the poll pick on the Realmathon Discord, and Six Scorched Roses won that poll pick. And I posted on Brittany's Discord, Brittany Loves Reading, on her Patreon Discord, that I was planning on reading that tonight, and she actually, we're actually doing a little bit of a very chill, very low-key little mini buddy read for that, because she was planning on reading that one also. It seems to be following a human named Lilith. Her village is like very sickly. They did something to piss off the gods. First their crops fail, and then they send them a plague. And so I believe Lilith goes and tries to get the help of a vampire. He's ready to go to bed. I gotta get him to sleep. And then keep reading Six Scorched Roses. Good morning, friends. It's now Sunday morning. So we've had a bit of a wrench in the plans. The power's out. I woke up this morning to no power. So, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but so I need to read something physically. I was reading Six Scorched Roses on my phone. I don't think my Kindle is charged up. I'm not even sure where my Kindle is. To be honest with you, I usually just use the Kindle app on my phone because it's easier. I always have my phone. I just open it up. I just read it on my phone. I know some people don't like reading on a phone screen, but it doesn't bother me at all. That's how I read most of my ebooks. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to end up reading. This is Salt by Hannah Moskowitz. We're skipping ahead to, this will be my last free pick for the final spot on the board. It seems thinner, but it's 260 pages long, so longer than I thought it was going to be. But a lot of it is, there's like large chapter breaks with like a big like blank thing, and it looks like there's just like flipping through it, there's pretty large print and like a lot of dialogue, so I think it's gonna read pretty quickly. This I know absolutely nothing about, except that I picked it up in the YA section at my library because it was thin and it has a black cover. That's why I picked it up. The synopsis really doesn't say much. It seems to be about a group of teenage orphans. Sea monster hunting in the Mediterranean Sea? Like not like fun, whimsical, like, oh, let's go find a sea monster. Like killing sea monsters. Like dark and dangerous killing sea monsters. It seems like it might be kind of dark. I don't know. We'll see. I'm intrigued. I don't know anything. I've never heard of this before. So I'm intrigued. So I think we're gonna switch and read this. Hopefully, according to what I read on the internet, on Facebook. Who knows if people are right on Facebook. The power's supposed to be back on by noon. So that would be really nice. So once the power comes back on, I'll switch back to reading Six Scorched Roses so that I can catch up with Brittany, because I don't want to get too far behind with her. We're supposed to be buddy reading it, and then hopefully it comes back on by the time Stephanie has sprints later, because I kind of would like to join back in with sprints for the end of 48-hour mini Star Hop. I'm gonna get into this morning, and I will see you guys a little later. I'll let you know how I'm feeling about this. Hopefully the power comes back on. We'll talk later. Alright friends, so it's like 11 o'clock now, and I've read about 100 pages of Salt. I don't have a bookmark handy, so I've just been like, anyway. This is a weird book, and I'm not sure I'm enjoying it. It seems to take place in our normal world. There's like cell phones, there's cars, there's internet, but there are sea monsters, and they're like dangerous sea monsters that like eat people. There are sea monsters that are like really small, and more kind of like fish, but like more dangerous than fish. And then there are other ones that are like giant, like the size of a boat, and like will like take down a whole boat. Like the Kraken or something. I don't know if the Kraken actually exists in this world, but you know what I mean. So the story is about these 4 kids. They're 19, 16, 12, and 6. The youngest one is 6. And their parents were sea monster hunters. So they would go around and kill these sea monsters for like reward money. They were going after like a particularly large and dangerous sea monster. They left them behind because they didn't want to take them with them because it was such a dangerous like mission. And they never came back, and this was like months ago at this point. So they're assuming that their parents are dead. They're kind of taking over their parents' kind of sea monster hunter situation, living on this boat like in the Mediterranean Sea. And but they're also kind of trying to figure out what happened to their parents. These kids are, I don't know, they just kind of like live on this boat in the Mediterranean Sea. They don't seem to, like I said, kind of, it takes place in like our normal modern world, but they don't seem to like really, they don't see other people other than each other very often. The older one was born like on land in Portugal, but the younger 3 like don't even have like, they don't have birth certificates. They don't know like when their actual birthdays are, and there's not really much plot. They're just kind of like, they're traveling to go see if they can talk to this guy to maybe find out what happened to their parents. Yeah, I'm just feeling like a little slumpy, like I don't really want to read anymore. And like I'm not sure I'm actually going to be able to finish all of this. We still don't have power. Like I'm not sure when the power is going to be back on at this point. I'm hoping, my husband does have kind of like a big power bank situation that hopefully I can at least charge my phone with. So after I finish Salt, I will read Six Scorched Roses on my phone. I did find my Kindle. It's not charged. It's the battery's completely dead. Brittany did finish Six Scorched Roses, and she absolutely loved it, so I'm excited to continue reading it. But yeah, so anyway, that's what's going on here. Hopefully this book gets more interesting. Okay, that's it. Bye. Okay, so I've read like 75 more pages of this book, and I think I need to DNF it. I'm so annoyed right now at the decisions that these characters have made. So I think I'm gonna try. You can DNF books as long as you're halfway through the book. You can still DNF a book and count a book for Realmathon, but you just have to count it for the amount of pages that you have actually read. So I think I'm gonna try to read 25 more pages, so I at least get to 200 pages, because 200 pages will give me 10 points. So another 25 pages to get an extra 10 points I can do. And then I can still count it. DNF still count for Mini Star Hop too, so I can still count it for Mini Star Hop. And then we'll move on. I think I'm gonna take a break and eat some lunch and sulk and glower. I don't know. I'm just so annoyed. I'm so mad. I thought, I don't know. I was like, all right, well, maybe they're actually gonna like go after this big sea monster and there's gonna be this big dramatic fight at the end and things are gonna get more interesting. No, now they're just like stuck in Ukraine, like washing dishes at a cafe for money to try to like put their ship back together. And I'm like, what is the point of all? What is the point of this book? Anyway, I'm annoyed. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna eat some lunch. Hopefully the power comes back on soon. I think that's how I ended my last clip too, but I really hope the power comes back on. Alright, hello friends. It's actually the next day now. It is Monday. So the 48-hour readathons are both over, but I feel like I was pretty successful. So I did end up DNFing Salt. I actually did have, like, there was like a moment in time where I got to the 200 pages. Something kind of big had happened right before I stopped reading, and I was like, am I gonna keep reading this book? And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. And then I finished Six Scorched Roses. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. It was like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and to be fully honest with you, it took me too long to realize that it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I mean, Brittany told me that it was, but I think there was a moment when I was reading, I was like, is this a Beauty and the Beast retelling? And I was like, no. And then I kept reading, I was like, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And it was so well done. It was like maybe my favorite Beauty and the Beast retelling. I mean, I haven't read a ton of them, and most of the ones that I have read have not been very good. Beauty and the Beast is like probably my favorite Disney movie. It's up there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think you can read it as a standalone. It does vaguely mention things that happen in Serpent and the Wings of Night. It does seem to take place at the same time as Serpent and the Wings of Night. But it doesn't give anything away. It doesn't spoil anything. However, it does set us up for seeing these characters again in Ashes and the Star-Crossed King, which I'm excited about. It's actually made me even more excited to read that book now. I mean, I was already excited about it because I loved Serpent and the Wings of Night. It's just a little romance between a vampire and a human girl. And yeah, it kind of sets things up for going into Ashes and the Star-Crossed King. And it was a really, really fun time. It was very beautifully written. It was a much different vibe than Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I really, really liked it. And then with like 45 minutes left of Peace Talks, or Weekend of Peace, I guess we're calling it this year, I was able to read Heartstopper Volume 1. It was a very fast read. And if you live under a rock and don't know what this is, it's a graphic novel. It's a whole graphic novel series. They made it into a TV show, which now I need to watch. It's about 2 teenage boys who are in high school, Charlie and Nick. Charlie is out. He has come out as gay. Well, he didn't really come out on his own. He told a few people, and then kind of rumors spread around, as, they do in high school. So he's publicly out as gay. Nick, at the beginning of the story, thinks he is straight. And Nick is kind of this like jock. He plays rugby. He's, you know, he's this kind of like boy's boy. And he and Charlie strike up a friendship. And Nick starts to have some not so straight feelings for Charlie. And it's just so cute. It's so cute. It made me like remember how much I actually love graphic novels, and how much a really good graphic novel can say so much with very little dialogue. There are moments where there's like 3 or 4 pages of just pictures, and it's still like it makes you feel so much. I gave that 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. So to recap the weekend, I read 4 books for the weekend, which I'm pretty excited about. I read How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which I gave 4.5 stars. I got 62 points for that for Realmathon. I DNF'd Salt by Hannah Moskowitz, but I read enough of it that I was able to still submit it, and I got 35 points for that. I read 6 Scorched, and I DNF'd that. I was gonna say a star rating. I DNF'd it. I read 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, and I gave that 5 stars, and I submitted that for 38 points. And then I ended up reading Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, which I gave 5 stars also, and I submitted that for 34 points. I actually realized after I submitted it that if I had submitted Salt for negative points instead of positive points, I would have gotten quite a few more points. It worked for several things on the negative side, but it's fine. I had already submitted it, so I was like, you know what, whatever. I was trying to just kind of focus on defending and adding more points to my team, because Realm of Shadows is, I think, the biggest team, and so that kind of makes us a target for people targeting us and trying to knock us down and take points away. So was really just trying to kind of defend this weekend. Honestly, feeling a little burnt out now, so I'm not 100% sure how much more I will read this week. We still have a week left, but yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling a little burnt out, but it's okay. So I had a pretty successful weekend. I completed Mini Star Hop for only like the 3rd time, so I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like I contributed, gave my, the Realm of Shadows quite a few points. I think it was like 169 points altogether. I know there are other people who read like 20 things this weekend, but you know what? I'm pretty happy with my 4. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching my very first vlog. I apologize that I feel like this was probably kind of boring with me only being like sitting on this couch and just being the one like just being like the one point of view. However, I very quickly realized that any other place I tried to sit in the house and film, the background just looked like really cluttered and messy. So I need to work on setting up some nice little backgrounds that I can film in front of. I am going to be working on rearranging my bookshelves. They're kind of a cluttered mess right now, but I'm going to be working on rearranging those so that I have some backdrops to film in front of. I have a lot of ideas for some things that I would like to do, for some different vlogs that I'd like to do, and everything. So, thank you for watching my very first video. Hit the like button, subscribe, all the things, stick around, and hopefully I will get a little better at this. Things will be a little smoother. I know this isn't like the most polished vlog ever or anything, but we're working with what we have for now, and I will hopefully get better at this, and my videos will get more interesting. So I will see you guys in my next vlog, which will possibly be my April TBR. Currently trying to decide whether or not I'm gonna do Aurelium or not. I'm waffling, but anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. I would have the baby say goodbye, but he's He's sleeping. He's very tired. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.